Good morning, everybody. I'm Reverend Debbie. I'm so glad to have all of us in the house and online. It's all good. And welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Minneapolis. This center is based on the truth that there is a power for good in the world, and we can use it. We can consciously use it in our life. And that takes us to the mission, which is to teach, demonstrate, and inspire that positive spiritual approach to living that allows us to stay conscious of who and whose we are. And so with that, with great pleasure, I introduce to you Victoria and Carl.
Hey. Blue skies smiling at me, and nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebirds singing a song, and nothing but bluebirds all day long. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the day hurrying by, when you're in love, my how they fly. Oh, blue days, all of them gone, nothing but blue skies from now on. Baby, blue skies smiling, and I heard me nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebirds singing a song, nothing but bluebirds all day long. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by, when you're in love, my how they fly. Oh, blue days, all of them gone, nothing but blue skies all day long. Nothing but blue skies all day long. Nothing but blue skies from now on.
Thank you both very much. Okay. Let us take a moment and just get centered, shall we? And just join me. And let's just breathe together that wonderful gift of life that just never stops. It's just that consistent breath. And let us just take a moment and recognize that it is Spirit that is breathing us. It is Spirit that is connecting us. And in this place of quiet, I just allow that one to say, yes, my beloved, knowing that all is well and all will be well. knowing that despite appearances, something amazing is moving. I give thanks for this knowledge, for this truth, for this community, for this love, for this gathering, knowing that whatever we need to hear, we get to hear. And whatever we need to share, we get to share. And together, we just step in knowing that that sky is always blue. So it is. All right. And now that I know your cell phones are turned off, I invite all of us to join in a group reading as we affirm our truth. I am ready to deepen my conviction in the power and presence for good. I am ready to apply it in my daily life. I am ready to receive God's highest blessings. I am ready to live from a higher level of beingness. I am ready to be a transformative light in the world. Ooh, God, we're powerful. Thank you for that. And now, as we do every Sunday, we are going to recognize, that there's only one, but there are many paths and many traditions and rituals to that one. And so I'm going to invite Brent to come up, and we are going to light the flames of faith. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the path of ethical living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths, the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. Thank you, Brent. And now I invite all of us just to take a moment and recognize that flame within, that flame of new thought, honoring our wholeness, our oneness, our ability for healing through the principles of one. Thank you all. Okay. And with that, I would like to invite up practitioner Colleen to do an inspirational reading for us today.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's good to see you. So today's reading is from this book, Working with the Law, by Raymond Halliwell. And he is a contemporary, lived the same time that Ernest did, but there's no indication that they personally crossed paths, but he was a big Ralph Waldo Emerson guy, too. So it's so interesting to see how during that period, all of the same kind of ideas were popping up, all these different places. Man is constantly thinking. He can change his thought, but he cannot stop thinking. This thinking power flows in and through him like the very air we breathe. Man's problem, then, is to direct his power of thinking into constructive channels of expression. It is a scientific fact that no power can act without producing some kind of effect. And by merely thinking, we are continually producing effects. These effects register and record in daily life. And the first question in our self-development is, are we controlled by our thoughts, or are we controlling our thoughts? Are we using our thoughts for gain? Here's a story that kind of will show you the era in which this gentleman lived. It goes like this. A farmer who lived in Nebraska and had come from a small town in a small farm in Pennsylvania years before, never could adjust himself to using the binder, which was a machine that cut and bound grain. He had been accustomed to the old hand cradle and tying his grain by hand. Repeatedly, he said to his friends, "That binder will get me yet." He was afraid every time he climbed upon its seat, And one day, while I was there, his horses ran away with him and he was thrown over the reel into the machinery. Like Job, his fears became upon him. It took just a few years to bring into reality the fears that he subconsciously had entertained and accepted. Our fears can do so much to us that we should be most careful what we fear and worry about. Years ago, when the flu epidemic was raging through the country and many were dying, a newspaper published an item of interest. In bold letters, the heading read, "Do not fear the flu." It was the caption of an article written by a local doctor who explained that fear was the greatest enemy of mankind, and that it would have a tendency to break down a person's mental resistance and make him more susceptible to the disease. The world is realizing more and more that we dare not entertain in our minds any fear, lest we entertain it upon ourselves. Whatever we think in our minds must grow. Why do you suppose the farmer goes out and weeds his garden and works tediously to eliminate every weed? Because he knows that if he does not clean out the weeds, they will grow stronger and tougher and choke out his crop. If some condition handicaps us, perhaps a weed, we must pluck it out. And it is important to know that the condition is the effect that we see. It is not the true cause that we see. Dig down deep into the mental storehouse and find out what is the cause. If we cannot discern it, there are others who can. Then weed out the cause by replacing it with the right kind of thought. That is, if it is fear, replace it with courage. If it is a diseased thought, replace it with healthy thought. If it is a limited thought, think thoughts of plenty. Thank you.
It's all about allowing peace within, in absolute surrender, so serenity begins. For when the storm subsided and calm becomes a wave, it's all about allowing it to stay. It's all about allowing love to flow, in setting down your burdens and just simply letting go. For as you cease to struggle and love pours through your heart, it's all about allowing it to start. Now feel it warm and shining, new with promise, strong, undying, love different than any you have known. And now the seed is sown. It's all about allowing change to show, then living in the moment like it's all you'll ever know. And though it won't be easy, you can truly say you tried, for it's all about allowing it inside. Sown. It's all about allowing love to flow. It's setting down your burden and just simply letting go. For as you cease to struggle and love pours through your heart, it was all about allowing, all about allowing it to start.
Okay, the stage is set. Here we go. Reverend Joanne.
Thank you. Thank you for that music. Now, when you were singing that first song, when you do that beboppy stuff, do you know what you're going to say, or does that just flow from you?
It flows. I mean, it's a combination of stuff. Like I hear the sound in my head like a split second before it comes out of my mouth.
You know, I was thinking, sitting here thinking, it's like she's speaking in tongues.
Sometimes it kind of feels like that.
You're letting that spirit flow. Well, I certainly enjoy it. And they call it scat? Scat?
Yeah, that's called scat.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love it. All right. And thank you for the reading. Thank you for everything you do, Debbie. And in the last month, I've been to 3 funerals. And, you know, they're not that sad because, number one, I know that when we drop this shell of a body, we just move on to another realm. And the other thing is about funerals is you see people you haven't seen for a while, relatives, friends that you don't ordinarily see, and you hear these people being eulogized, lifted up, all the good stuff about them. And many times, even if you know somebody pretty well, you hear things that are surprising. I did not know that about this person. So it was a kind of a pleasant 3 funerals that I went to. Now, none of these people who died had the experience that this particular nun had. I'm going to tell you a story about this Mother Superior. This was in Ireland in a convent. She's Mother Superior. She's like 98 years old, and she was on her deathbed. And of course, all the nuns were gathered around her, and they were feeling sad and, you know, trying to grasp the idea that they were going to lose this dear Mother Superior of theirs. And they were trying to comfort her in whatever way they could. And so they brought her a glass of warm milk and, you know, thought maybe that would give her a little comfort. She didn't want that warm milk. But one of the nuns remembered, she said, we got some Irish whiskey last Christmas. So she took that milk into the kitchen and she dumped some of the milk out and poured in some of this Irish whiskey. She took it back to where Mother Superior was dying, and she offered this glass to the Mother Superior, and Mother Superior takes a little sip and takes another little sip, grabs the glass and chugs the whole thing down. And she kind of wakes up. She's like, kind of perks up, and all the nuns are so happy because they feel like they're going to get some words of wisdom, and they're really hanging on to that. They really admire her and are thinking, this is the time she's going to say her last words, and it's going to be really meaningful. And so they just, with sitting on, you know, pins and needles, they crowd around her bed, and she lifts herself up on one elbow and she looks them in the eye and she says, never sell that cow. Now, I am going to be giving you more words of wisdom than that today. We're going to be talking about shifting gears from race consciousness to grace consciousness, but I also wanted to say a word about the fact that it is Palm Sunday today. Now, some of us in our traditions of old, you know, some of this stuff was celebrated in a real visceral way. It meant something, and it was a big deal, Palm Sunday, and as well as Easter. And I read this morning in the Daily Word, this comes from Unity, but I read this and I thought I would just share it with you. Why don't I find the right day? On Palm Sunday, I celebrate the divine presence within. Today is Palm Sunday, the commemoration of Jesus' arrival in Jerusalem that symbolizes the awakening of the Christ in mankind. So, we look at it a little bit more of a metaphysical way. I feel inspired to follow Jesus' action and express more and more of the love, peace, joy, and light of my Christ nature, of that nature of the Creator that experiences life in, through, and as me. I open my heart and my mind to more fully embody and share the Christ of my being. I just become more aware of that light within me. Others around the world are doing the same. Together we bring peace, healing to the world and to one another. So I just think that was a nice little piece about Palm Sunday. Awakening to our spirituality. And in springtime, everything awakens. So it's really a good time to just think to ourselves, I'm going to let that spirit within me awaken, guide me. Remember that the universe is for me. So let's be aware of that as we're thinking about springtime, thinking about Palm Sunday, thinking about Easter. So now let's shift gears and go right into this idea about race consciousness to grace consciousness. So I'm going to talk about three things: consciousness, race consciousness, and grace consciousness. Now, I was hoping to have my circle here this morning, the teaching symbol for Center for Spiritual Living. And if you remember, that circle represents God, no beginning, no end, and the top part of it is consciousness. That top slice is our setting our intentions, our thoughts, our seed thoughts. And that's what our consciousness is. Thoughts, feelings, beliefs, values, attitudes, words, is all part of our consciousness. And the idea is that we are creative. That with our consciousness, we create. So our thoughts, it's so important to keep our thoughts positive and constructive because it works both ways. If we're thinking love thoughts and peace thoughts, we're planting seeds of good, and we're going to manifest that. If on the other hand, like I hear a lot of people talking about these days, oh my gosh, the angst in my life, this is terrible. How are we ever gonna? People are seemingly going through a lot of angst about the state of the world. And the idea is if we plant those seed thoughts, that's what we're going to manifest. So it's really important to keep our thoughts positive and constructive. We are creative. And when we plant that middle part, the law, that does the work for us. Colleen and Joan are planting their gardens, and they know they planted into the soil, and they say, soil, give it a go. Give us a good crop. So race consciousness, then, is different from consciousness in that race consciousness, and this isn't about the color of our skin or our ethnic origin, anything like that. Race consciousness it refers to the accumulated collective thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and attitudes and words of the human race, to which we're all subject, unless, well, I'm going to get to that a little bit later, but we are all subject to that unless. So Ernest Holmes has this to say about race consciousness. Race consciousness is a very real thing, and each of us carries around with us and has written into our mentality many impressions which we never consciously thought of or experienced. These are like the weeds that pop up in our life. There is a tendency on the part of all of us to reproduce the accumulated subjective experiences of the human race. So we're all affected by a lot of stuff that went on before us that we had nothing to do with. He also says the collective unconscious contains a record of all human events that have ever transpired. We are all more or less subject to this collective thought, since it acts as a powerful race consciousness. The sum total of all erroneous human belief binds until, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. So you kind of get the picture that we're all subject to this race consciousness. And let's talk for a minute about what that includes. And we're all subject to it. We've all got ideas. Let's just say, for instance, I say to you, I've got a cold. And you think, oh, yeah, well, stay away from her. That's an inconvenience. That's not something I want to subject myself to. Let's stay away. What if I say, I have cancer? And all of a sudden you have a different idea of that. Cancer can be serious. Cancer can be fatal. So we have these perceptions of how we look at things. One of the things that comes to our mind is, how do you believe your body reacts as you age? Do you think you stay vital and spry and energetic, or do you think we deteriorate? Now, Colleen told me this, we talked about this when she was in prac class, and we were talking about this, and she said, I'm going to stay spry. I'm not going to deteriorate. I'm going to stay energetic. I mean, what an attitude. And she is actually pulling out a lot of weeds in order for her to say that, because race consciousness tells us it's all downhill from here. This is the stuff race consciousness tells us. We make jokes like everything that works hurts, and what doesn't hurt doesn't work. We're kind of just planting seeds that aren't going to work in our favor. You feel like the morning after, but you haven't had a night before. I heard this just yesterday or read it somewhere. Sophia Loren, she's aged really well. And somebody asked her, how did you, what's your secret? How do you age so well? Well, she said, I learned this. She said, I learned not to groan when I get up. I thought to myself, oh my gosh, as we age, many of us, it comes with the territory. We feel a little groan, and people that I hang out with, this 89-year-old guy that I transport, he gets into the car and out of the car, and it's very noisy because it hurts. He hurts and he groans. So, and I know I do the same thing. So your little black book only contains names ending in MD. Got lots of doctors that we have to keep track of. Your knees buckle, but your belt won't. We hear these things, and we tend to believe them. Your back goes out more than you do. And here's the one that really hit home with me. You look forward to a dull evening. And indeed I do. And I have a lot of them, so I'm very happy. So what these jokes really say is that for the large part, many of us, our idea about aging is old people should just be put on a shelf because they're creaking and they don't have much to offer. They're going down. That's kind of what that race consciousness weed is telling us. Now, many of you know the author Greg Braden. He wrote a book that I loved called The Divine Matrix. He's a scientist, he's a visionary. I really like that book, Divine Matrix. I cannot tell you what it said, but I do know I love that book. And so he tells a story about this village in Asia where these 100-year-old people are riding around on their bicycles, and they're vibrant and they're alive, 100 years old, riding their bicycles in this little village. And one day, One day they decide to die. One day they decide to die. And on that day they have a big party. And during that party, they take a moment and they leave and they lay down and go to sleep and make their transition. Now, Greg Braden comes with a lot of credentials. Now, he may have made this up, but I kind of think he did a little research when he talked about it. And you've all heard these stories before. Certain parts of the world, people live longer and are more vibrant. So a lot of it has to do with what we expect out of our life, what we're listening to, that race consciousness. So we sure don't have that kind of race consciousness here, do we? We're more of the, let's put these old people on the shelf. And what are some of the other race consciousness beliefs? Can I just get some input? What are some of the race consciousness beliefs that you might have?
Things are scarce.
Yes. Who said that? Yeah, that's not enough. Not enough money, not enough smarts, not enough friends, not enough time. Did we?
That was mine.
Oh,
It's dangerous out there.
oh yeah. Yes.
Somebody else hasn't done it, you can't. It's not a thing already. You can't do it, you can't make it a thing.
Oh yeah, right. So we've all got these ideas in our head. I'm not worthy. You know, oh, there's all kinds of good stuff, but not for me. I'm too bad. I can't take that. I'm not going to be able to deal with it. So we get all these things that we really need to think about. In our prison program, in our prison circle, we've been reading 2 books. We read the 4 agreements, and now we're finishing up the 5th agreement. And Don Miguel Ruiz says that when you're born, you know, think about this little kid. They haven't gotten all those bad. They're so happy. They're cheerful. They're not afraid of anything. And it doesn't take long before they're told what the no-nos are. You know, don't do that. That's dangerous. You're going to get hurt. Don't play with those people. They're the wrong color. Don't play with those boys. They swear. Whatever. We're told all these things, and we're told these things usually by people who we trust and love, and usually by people who think they're doing us a favor. They're trying to help us. So this race consciousness is really something that we have to deal with, and really this Don Ruiz, his whole book is kind of about this. Quit listening to the stuff you've been told and go in, listen to your heart. What's true in your heart? So the sum total of all erroneous human belief binds us until we lift ourselves above race consciousness into the higher law of spiritual individualism. We have to lift ourselves above that bed of weeds. We have to take care of ourselves, listen to our own higher spiritual law, that spiritual individualism. Holmes says this: there is, of course, a much deeper seed of knowledge than race consciousness, which is the spirit. Direct contact with the spirit is illumination. And this takes us right into grace consciousness. That's what grace consciousness is. When we add God or spirit to race consciousness, then we can make it grace. And even the word, like race, R-A-C-E, if you add God, the G in the God, you got grace. Grace, race to grace. So we all need to do that shift from race to grace consciousness to bring God into the picture. And we lift ourselves above those weeds. Holmes again says, the one whose thought is the most godlike, that is the truest, the highest, the most noble, the most complete, the most peaceful, will be the best healer. When thought reaches a higher degree of perfection, as the race consciousness unfolds and evolves, it will bring out a still greater development of life than we now know. So when we add God to race consciousness, we're shifting gears and we transcend to grace consciousness. And when we do this, we're elevating not only ourselves, but everything around us. I was reading our book this morning, and in that book, it was talking about abundance, but it said if we raise our abundance consciousness, the abundance consciousness all around us will also be raised up. And this is the truth. And this is something that as we practice some of these principles that we teach, we know these things are true. When I change my consciousness, when I become more forgiving, when I become more loving, miraculously, my circumstances, the people around us, also seem to change. I think they do change. It's amazing. And this is why we need to practice these things. We don't just read them and go on and do something else, sit on the couch and eat bonbons. You read these things and you put them into practice, because the more we practice them, the more we learn that, oh my gosh, that is absolutely true. I made this shift, and lo and behold, this person that I work with seemed to change overnight. These things happen all the time. And you're not going to prove it to yourself until you stick your neck out and give it a shot. Holmes writes, an instance of race consciousness, he's talking about how race consciousness changes, how it evolves. He says, in an instance of race consciousness is the belief that one more than 40 years of age is easily fatigued. 40 years of age, man, if I were 40 years of age, I think I'd have all kinds of energy. But when he was writing, this is what the belief was, that if you're over 40 years of age, you're going to lose some of your pep and energy. He says, cannot engage in strenuous exercise of any kind and must work fewer hours a day, 40 years of age. This race suggestion has hypnotized the entire world. Only a few people past 40 dare to undertake new endeavors and engage in activities with the same enthusiasm they did at 25. Isn't that something? You know, that how things have changed. And what do they say? 70 is the new 50 or something like that. And I believe that. I think that what people thought and were capable of years ago, it has changed. So we've definitely evolved I'm thinking about, what's the big basketball player, James? LeBron. How old is that guy? 50? I mean, he's old. He's certainly over 40. And he can run up and down the court with his son. He's playing with his son. I mean, unbelievable. Nobody can tell him he's over the hill. So we've definitely evolved. Everything we've ever thought, everything we've ever said and done, we know is an imprint upon us, and it's including our family life and our community life, our ancestral background, sum total of what the whole world has thought or believed. Lots of this stuff. This is what we've got to deal with. But there's more to it than that. Just as you're being acted on by all those things, there is the mind of God acting on you as well. And this is this is what we can do with our consciousness. This is what we can do when we set intentions. We can say, and this is how I pray, and I prayed this way coming in this morning, even though I've done this, that, and the next thing and that thing, even though I declare right here and right now, because I have that inner power within me, same power that created the universe, I right now declare my good. I declare. What I was declaring is how my week was going to go. I was declaring that I would have enough energy to start simplifying my life, to clear some things out, to give me more energy to do the things that are for me to do. But my prayer usually starts out, even though I've been under that constraint, right now, I'm going to change my mind. And so we know that the mind of God is there for us. So while today we might be experiencing some of these weeds, we have the ability, we can make the choice to change our mind about that, get those weeds out of the way, and become a creator, be a person that's experiencing grace consciousness versus race consciousness. So, when you think about this during the week, and you find yourself going down that slippery slope, and when I say that, I mean when you find yourself irritable, when you find yourself judging others, judging yourself, when you find yourself throwing up your hands and why me, ever do that? I mean, we do it all the time. But when we catch ourselves doing that, and I'm going to give you some homework if you choose to do that. My suggestion is that this week you try to catch yourself about 3 times going down that slippery slope when you're thinking some negative thoughts or judging somebody or yourself, and just change your mind. Change that thought from a judgmental thought or a fear thought or an anxiety thought, and just change that and just say, I remember the universe is for me. I put my life in the hands of God, and I know that good is mine. I expect good. I accept good. Whatever works for you, but in my mind, it helps to have a little bit of a mantra to go to, so that when you find yourself in that state, you can say, everything is in divine order. Everything is as it should be. I mean, that's my mantra when things go wrong. If I can just remind myself of that, it lifts me right up. It just gets me right back on an even keel. So anyway, I would like to invite you right now to get comfortable where you're sitting, and I would like to do a spiritual mind treatment, which is an affirmative prayer around the words that I have spoken. So let's just take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you like. Relax your body. No, there's nowhere else you need to be right now. This is the place for you. And I know there is but one power in the universe, and that power is all good. It is peace. It is joy. It is love. It is order and balance. It is the perfect solution to any perceived dilemma in my life, that one power. And I know I am one with it. We are united. That one power experiences life in, through, and as its creation, in, through, and as me, giving power to the words that I speak. And even though I've in the past been influenced by race consciousness, by all these weeds, these ideas, I declare right here and right now that I'm willing to bring my higher power into the equation and experience grace consciousness. I'm willing to experience good and love and joy. When I go down that slippery slope, I catch myself and I'm aware that I change my thinking, and any thought that doesn't serve me, like fear or anxiety or judgment, revenge, any thought like that, I have a willingness to let go of. I have a willingness to experience peace and forgiveness and joy. I shift gears and I go from that race consciousness to grace consciousness. And I'm grateful that this is the law, the way the law of life works. It produces whatever seeds I plant. I am grateful that it is done as I believe, and I release these words now for perfect manifestation. So it is.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. sun in the sky. You know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by. You know how I feel. It's a new dawn, a new day. It's a new life for me. Yeah, it's a new dawn, a new day, a new life. Ooh, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River run free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world, and a bold world for me. Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. Sin of the pine, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, a new day, it's a new life for me. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-bay, ba-bwee, ba-ba-bwee, ba-ba-bwee, ba-ba-da-bwee, ba-bwee, ba-bwee. And I'm feeling good, so good now, and I'm feeling good.
Okay, we're all feeling good, right? I just want to breathe all of that love and wisdom in. Thank you both so much. And now is our time. Actually, it's our opportunity. It is our opportunity to embrace our abundance. We've been doing this book study, The Art of Abundance, and it's got some stuff to do about money, but it has mostly to do about knowing how good things really are and how prosperous we are. So I invite you to join me. I know a lot of us do online payments and all of that great electronical stuff. If you are watching us, you're welcome to go to the website and hit the donate button or text money. But can we just, in our mind's eye, take that gift and let us just take it to heart and give it love. Because as we love what we give on the way out, love comes back as it returns. And it always returns, pressed down, multiplied, running over, just filled with goodness. Thank you.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you. We are not only grateful for the gifts, but we're grateful for the givers. And we have a gift for you, and that is the gift of spiritual mind treatment. So if there's something you're working on, something you want to celebrate, something that you want us to know your divine truth for, please reach out to us for prayer. You will find a prayer request on the website. You will find a prayer request over here in the prayer box. Or if you're here in the room, you can meet with one of us. And today in the room, we have Colleen, we have Sue, we have Jeff, we have Leif, we have Joanne and I. So we're just all ready to pray around here. Okay. We have been doing a Wednesday night book study. Actually, it's more of a book discussion than a study, to be honest with you. And this Wednesday concludes with the last 2 chapters for The Art of Abundance by Dennis Merritt Jones. And if you haven't joined us, you're still welcome to. You can go on the website. There's no cost. But we ask that you go to the website and at least register so that we can send you the Zoom link instead of just posting it for what they call Zoom bombing. We don't want that to happen. So that is what's happening for us on Wednesday night. And it's been a really good group, some really good sharing, and some fun people to hang out with, I gotta say. So on the 30th, the last Wednesday of this month, we are going to start a new 5-week series based on the book, The Sacred Continuum. And this book is all about what happens when we're not in spiritual practice and we're not praying. What happens then? Like, when we're walking down the street or eating a meal or greeting a friend. And the book is broken into 2 sections. The first section talks about different thought formulas. And then the back section takes a word, a God quality, unconditional love, peace, wisdom, wholeness, abundant good, and provides some of the author's insights, and then also a meditation. So we will be recording the meditations and posting them online. And we would love you all to come and join us. When we live life, we live it in between those moments of sacredness. But what if they're all sacred? What if we're reverent and joyous through all of it? So it starts on the 30th. It's going to be 5 weeks, so that takes us through May and our first major holiday, right? Memorial Day? Or is it Labor Day? Or what is it? Memorial Day. Okay, I knew it was someday. So if you have more questions, you can see me. You can reach out at info@cslminneapolis.org. If you can't join us, I invite you to consider picking up the book. You can get it on most of the online bookstores and discount stores and Barnes & Noble. So the author is Stephanie Sorensen. Stephanie Sorensen. She wrote another book called, this is called The Sacred Continuum. Her other book is called The Infinite something or other. Anyway. Starts at, oh, thank you. Thank you for the prop. 7 o'clock Central Time, an hour or so. Go on to the website and sign up. Like I said, there's no cost. The other no-cost event we're very, very excited about is happening on May 16th, which is right around the corner, and that is a celebration of consciousness. And there are a couple of different spiritual communities that are going to join us right here in this room at 7 o'clock on Friday night, and we are just going to talk about consciousness and love and joy and how we can how we can raise ourselves up and celebrate no matter how crazy anything else is. And it'll be about an hour. Looking forward to it. And then closing out that evening will be Selena Maitreya, the author of the book, Raise Your Frequency, Transform Your Life. And she's going to do a little reading from the beginning of her book about her journey into consciousness. And then we're going to host her at a all-day workshop. Registration for both is on the website. We have officially this week opened up registration to other spiritual communities. So thank you for those of you who have signed up. If you're interested and you haven't signed up, please let us know. And if you've already talked to either myself or Jeff, we've reserved a spot. So that's all cool. Yeah, we're limiting it to 20 people because it's a real hands-on, let's get into it situation where we get to really go deep. That's all I got. Anything else? Anybody else have anything goodness? Oh, we have our resident artist, creative genius. Want to talk about what you've got going on? Anthony, come. And this is our art curator.
So Alicia and I have worked together to curate an exhibit of her photography that includes her motivational quotes, and it's at Wells Fargo Place, downtown St. Paul, 30 East 7th Street, Skyway level, and it will run through June. Yeah, and she will be doing a couple refreshes over that time, so check it out if you get a chance.
Pete and I and Celeste went this last week to take a look, had lunch there, and really enjoyed it. Just loved it. I mean, it's so you, and it's so beautiful. So if you guys get a chance, you should go take a look. Is that on the website?
Yeah, if it's not on the website, it will be. Give us until Monday. Yeah. See what a powerful group of individuals we've got here? Man. Oh, it just feels so good. All right, before we get another song, I'm going to pray us out, and Joanne's going to bless us out, and then we've got coffee and goodness. I keep wanting to call it happy hour, but it's just... Yeah, it's happy coffee time is what it is. Okay. Oh, let us just take a breath. Let us just breathe in this laughter and this love and this incredible energy. Let's breathe in this oneness. As we remember our truth that there is only one, and we are that divine expression of it, allowing it to experience its creation as we experience our life. I invite all of us just to be willing to move into that place of goodness, that place of truth, that place of knowing that whatever it is that is not working, that as we release it, more abundance rushes in. It is the truth. It has always been the truth. And we are so blessed. So it is.
May you be at peace. May you know the beauty of your own true nature. May your heart be open. May you be healed. May you be blessed. Namaste.
Feel free to stand up if you want to dance around to this one a little. Unless you just want to sit, it's up to you. You know, it's still the morning. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, I'm gonna let it shine. hide it under a bushel. No, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, hide it under a bushel. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around Minnesota, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the United States, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.